I think I'm Big Meech.
Fuck being bosses. Education is important. We gonna be kings, T. So what's happening, little money? See all this motherfucking money, nigga? Yeah, nigga, we here, nigga.
Selling my shorty and towing that 40, we moved to the city like BMF.
Cracking the whip ain't always about beating on the motherfucker.
The baddest of the bag. Coolest of the cool, I'm DMC, I rock and roll. DJ run, I rock and roll.
All you gotta do is be smart about it. You gonna get that motherfucker.
BMF drama series is the origin story of the Black Mafia Family.
BMF stands for Black Mafia Family, fool.
The documentary was just recently released, and with season 2 right around the corner, I'm going to show you all of the hidden meanings, details, and Easter eggs you missed in season 1 on first watch. Like this one right here at the end of episode 1. Yeah, that's right, I confirmed exactly who shot Southwest T, at least according to this show. But we'll get into that in just a bit. Let's start off with character introduction. Oftentimes in TV shows, the very first appearance or speaking role of a character tells us everything we need to know about that character's character for the season. And that stands true for BMF. Let's go through all the main characters' introductions and you'll see exactly how that correlates to their story throughout. It's wild. Here's the order that I'll discuss the characters. Some of them I'll go in depth, others not so much because it'll be very evident. Lamar.
Yeah.
Y'all might want to head to Mickey D's for a Happy Meal or something.
Right off the bat, probably in the most exaggerated example possible, they show us how crazy Lamar is. Violent, irrational, impulsive, simple and plain. Kato. Now I find the first time they let Kato talk to be very interesting and telling. Check this out.
Slicing prices like it's Black Friday.
People don't have the kind of money we charge, and I had to.
Sell $50 bags of crack all day, all night.
It's slow as shit out here. I had to think on the fly to make a sale.
Look, yo, this ain't no democracy, Kato.
You know this team got a lot of players, right?
And I'm the only one sweating on the field. The rest of them was backsliding to y'all shows.
So now you a snitch?
Tough chick who can hold her own. All her moves came from her thinking on the fly, and you can see right here her willingness to bend the rules and go against the team. Listen to the speech Meech gives her.
But in order for us to win, everybody got to play their position. Don't ever forget that shit, or you can do like my brother said and get the fuck on.
Pretty much foreshadowing. Now listen to what B. Mickey says right after this exchange.
What if Kato's right? And the streets ain't fucking with our 50 bags no more.
Speaking of B. Mickey, let's talk about his character right now. Already taken up for her, you can see possibly his opinion of her right out the gate. But ultimately, he does stand as a solid, loyal right-hand man. Pat. Pat stands as the OG drug dealer who's there to guide and influence Meech and Terry from kids to now. Let's cover the mom and dad together. A loving mom who cares about her children, well-being. Pop's the same character throughout. A tough love, wants the best for his kid, blue-collar American dad. Both just doing the best that they can. Detective Bryant.
Okay. I'm trying to start my own game up at the East Rec Center.
Well, you got enough people over there interested in playing?
So this baseball coach, people gonna go wherever the game is, you know that? The only problem I got is ain't no shelter on the field. Get kind of hot out there.
So what you talking?
It's a dugout on the bleachers.
And what you gonna do about the umpire?
Just kind of hoping you can help me out with that.
Ooh, boy, that's a tough ask.
I got faith in you, coach.
A slick, dirty cop running the streets of Detroit. The whole conversation was coded and everything he did was that way throughout the show. Terry and Meech.
We ain't spent 3 years grinding on corners and shitty-ass spots for nothing.
Word up, that corner shit is dead.
Why didn't you was here, though?
They didn't. I did. The city championships games today. So the place is calling with cops and metal detectors, which means them 12th Street niggas won't be strapped.
Right here, you can tell Meech's ambition and initiative. And you can see Terry is the brains of the operation. They do this so intentionally to establish the guidelines and lay a character's foundation right away. So you can see those same qualities in them throughout the show, even when they were kids hearing this flashback.
Man, you ain't gonna work at no Wendy's. Man, why the hell you care? See, I'm about to clock some major dollars so we can start sharing milk and clothes, man. You going to the Rock House? Yeah. I want to go.
Meech, the leader, using his ambition to take the initiative, and Terry smart enough to figure out what is going on and following in his brother's footsteps. You see this in nearly every single interaction between Meech and Terry. For all of those characters, they are sure to remind us that those are the core character traits throughout the season. With character introductions out of the way, let's get into some Easter eggs that you could have possibly missed. Here you can see them meeting outside of Cabo Arena. It's actually Cabo Hall now, but MHSAA stands for Michigan High School Athletic Association, which is pretty accurate. They're the high school football game. The scenery and all of that stuff works exactly for that era. This small showing of a crack pipe and what seems to be a casual conversation in passing is actually the moment that Terry first thought about selling to the factory workers like they do in later episodes.
Yo, you think the factory dudes smoking? Man, how you go putting mustard on shit, man?
Yeah, I need money for that Boblo trip.
We'll talk about it later.
That's what you said last one.
Their sister wants to go to Boblo Island, which is an amusement park that a lot of black people would visit back in those days. Royce the 5'9" and J. Cole even rapped about it in this song, Boblo Boat.
Out along on the Boblo Boat. On our way to that black amusement park, wood roller coasters, crack sold on plastic scooter cars.
It's rumored that the character Lamar is loosely based on thought of himself as the devil's son, and they show us subtle hints to that when you see the hood ornament and the 666 on his license plate. The show never tells us exactly when the season takes place. They say sometime in the 1980s, but I'm telling y'all the show was set in 1986. And I can tell you that it's 1986 because of this Run DMC song. And they also use a song from a local Detroit DJ called Juan. And this Technicolor song also came out in 1986. So obviously it could be 1986 and beyond, but there's a few more things that happened throughout the season that narrowed it down to 1986 specifically. So here we go. The end of episode 1, Southwest T gets shot in the face. And they never show us anything about the shooter. They show us this handgun. They show us some black boots. Wait, black boots?
Peekaboo.
Every single time they show us Lamar creeping and plotting and scheming, they show those black boots first. Those black boots, those black pants. The shooter of Southwest T, I know it was always implied kind of, but I'm telling y'all for 100% fact, the shooter of Southwest T was indeed Lamar. Episode 2. This is impossible. Based on the angle he was positioned in the car, he couldn't have gotten shot and had a bullet lodged in his eye/nose in this location. The whole right side of his body and his face is bloody, but his left side was the side closest to the shooter. I don't know how they did this kind of weird oversight. Terry says these words to Meech.
Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. Please look after Terry Jr. for me. You're gonna be fine.
Then in the next scene, here is a Martin Luther King Jr. quote in the back. If a man hasn't discovered something that he will die for, he isn't fit to live. Slick and Lamar were really close before he got locked up. That's obvious from this conversation. But Slick also knew Mo when she was his girl, because she calls him PM, which was his old street name. That means that they had real ties together even back in the day. Meech says to Kato, every time some ish go down, you in the middle of it.
I got jumped.
You know what? I don't know if you got bad luck or something, but we need to get rid of your ass. Every time some shit happen, your ass is always in the middle.
Nothing has even happened yet up to this point, but moving forward, that is certainly the case. Is this just foreshadowing? Terry has his paid in full moment, but he's the one that's actually in the hospital bed. Is this not like the most blatant reference ever?
Look, I'm gonna be 100 with you. I love this shit. I love the hustle, I love the chase, I love the money. And I'm really, really good at it.
I love the game. I love the hustle, man. be feeling like one of them ball-playing niggas, you know? Like Bird or Magic or something.
Right here, we see that B. Mickey kept his gun.
Terry told me something once that he learned in science class. If you put a frog in a pot of cold water, then slowly heat it up, frog won't notice till it boils to death.
This frog analogy at the end is really pertaining to the small but insignificant ways that the streets are heating up, but nobody wants to walk away while they still can. Episode 3.
Police has initiated the Downriver Area Narcotics Operation, which we are calling Drano.
Drano. I don't believe that this was formed in the 80s. I found an article from 1975 which mentions Drano, so the war on drugs was in full effect before the Flannery brothers hit the scene.
50-50 ain't even a discussion no more. From now on, we equals, or you could just start running shit for B-Man.
I thought this was an interesting moment. Terry decides he is tired of being a sidekick and a nice guy. After all he's been through, it's time for him to boss up. Kato has been working with Lamar prior to this moment because J-Mo is shot, and the same night after that, she talks to B. Mickey asking him this.
Is Mitch gonna deal with J-Mo?
You don't gotta worry about him no more.
Which is easy to interpret. Then Flamel is attacked. That is not a coincidence. Clearly Lamar got the word that J-Mo was out of the way, so he moved into action on the rest of his plan. He truly orchestrated this whole ordeal.
Crazy part is, I just paid a mortgage on a place I'm no longer welcome.
Yeah. Right here you can see the mortgage payment on the house, which has the incorrect address of the house, because this is the actual address of the Flannery brothers when they was growing up. How did Meech pay the mortgage off if he didn't even have the money to pay Pat back? From what I could see on the mortgage statement later on, the mortgage was $50,000 that he paid off. Episode 4. This episode doesn't have a whole lot of Easter eggs, but I did notice this one. The gas station is set up the exact same way from when they was kids. They didn't redesign the set, not even a tad bit. Like, these hats are in the same spot, these pickles are in the same spot, the sign, the black and miles. I mean, they didn't change nothing. They just changed the color grade to make us think it was older times. Episode 5.
Everybody lie. All the time. About big things, little things.
There's a Bible on the table, but it's not open to any particular verse. As Meech speaks about lies, this may be a subtle hint at nothing we see or hear from Meech, especially older Meech, can be taken as the truth.
Promise to pick our daughter up on time.
They didn't really highlight this, but he wasn't exactly on time. So this whole sequence of events is Lamar's fault, cause Meech was there as soon as she got out of school. Maybe he just showed up 5 minutes later or something. The show isn't shot on the greatest of budgets, which we all know why, but I do appreciate some of the creative decision making that they did. Like Lamar being in despair and them using a freehand camera movement to create the shaky cam look for the audience to feel the fear and angst. I freaking love this shot. When you look at the pictures of the suspects, they are specifically has the camera focused on the top row, which features Big Meech and Lamar. And you see Detective Brian standing right here behind the guy just so he wouldn't be recognized, and ultimately he still was noticed. On first notice, you might have realized that they pulled up on Terry in a red Jeep, but what you may have missed is the fact that they followed him all the way into the parking lot in that red Jeep. They didn't just pull up out of nowhere and cut him off. And that red Jeep becomes very significant later on.
My daddy had a saying, Detroit ain't about open hands, we about closed fists. Anybody who think otherwise will get knocked the fuck out.
This right here is easily one of the best lines in the entire show. Closed fist and open hands. Whew, love that. Right here, there's that red Jeep again. Tiny's driving around in the red Jeep. I believe that Tiny was working with Meech to help him kidnap Slick earlier because they used this exact same Jeep, but he wasn't present. So maybe he helped set Slick up so he could start taking control. Episode 6. The height chart is on the wall for the kids. You know, that's old school black people stuff.
You can't stop the rain.
Lamar starts singing You Can't Stop the Rain, which becomes an iconic BMF scene. But something I found interesting is that this song was made by the group Loose Ends, and Lamar is singing this song as he's tying up all his loose ends. That's pretty clever.
I'm loosening the reins. 50 boys are no more.
The 50 boys are no more, baby. And let me tell you something. The moment he says the 50 boys are no more, you no longer see them with the 50 boys pendant. Episode 7. Yo, I swear, this button not working is the most convenient plot point I've ever seen. Episode 8. This song Masquerade was playing, which is a double entendre on their relationship at this moment. They both have been wearing a mask and not really showing their true selves. I like that little Easter egg.
Your name she loves? What's wrong with the BKs?
Oh, yeah, that crazy motherfucker. But yeah, that nigga wasn't no BK. He was with the Delray boys.
Lamar Silas just rolling them too?
Yeah, both they crazy asses.
Meech gets confirmation on his Kato suspicions after she lied to him about her dad's affiliation with the Delray boys versus the BK.
Yeah, Mitch got us all grinding like crazy.
I think he's onto us.
Nah, I wouldn't heard about that.
Wrong. Yes, he is onto y'all. Look at this look he gave them earlier when they entered the record store. He knows exactly what's up. This might be a bold prediction, and it's a frustrating reality, but Kato is dead, for sure. But I guarantee you Lamar survived this, because Meech didn't ensure that he was dead. A few more shots would have got the job done. Besides, the guy that this character is based on is still alive. Ugh. It's so frustrating. I don't believe that he dies, even though Detective Brian said
It don't matter that we can't pin you to Lamar Silas' murder.
this is TV, and if a character don't die on camera, the door is left wide open for them to return. Mark my word.
Guess this car shit is the move then. Duke just put a stash spot in my whip, so shit. Have him lace all the cars in your business with
I'm not doing that.
Terry and Meech would later become infamous for their stash spots and their rental car assisting in their drug business. So all of this is just foreshadowing for season 2. Terry leaves at the end of the season, but we all know he makes his return to the BMF family. Some way, somehow.